the deadliest weapons on the world's aircraft carriers. Right now, somewhere on the open ocean, a 100,000-ton city of steel is cutting through the waves, carrying enough firepower to level a small nation. On its deck, pilots are strapping into machines that can vanish from radar. Below deck, missiles wait in silence, built for one purpose: to end a war before the enemy even knows it started. 4 nations, 4 navies, 4 very different philosophies of destruction. The United States builds its power around the sky. China is racing to catch up, one carrier at a time. Russia gambled everything on a single ship and lost. And Japan, bound for 80 years by a pacifist constitution, is quietly turning destroyers into carriers. But here's the question that keeps admirals awake at night. If these 4 navies ever met in open water, whose weapons would decide the outcome? Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which weapon, on which deck, could tip the balance of power at sea forever. Weapons, Wars, and Conflicts, where military power meets history. Like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification bell. The origin, how the carrier became the ultimate weapon. To understand today's power struggle, you have to go back to a lesson the world learned in blood. The battleship is dead, and the aircraft carrier is king. That lesson was written in the waters of the Pacific in December 1941 and confirmed 6 months later at Midway, when squadrons of aircraft, not battleship guns, decided the fate of an empire. From that moment on, naval power was no longer measured by the thickness of a ship's armor. It was measured by the reach of its aircraft. Today, that lesson has evolved into something even more dangerous. A modern carrier isn't just a ship. It's a mobile air base, a floating command center, and a projection of national will, capable of striking targets hundreds of kilometers inland without a single soldier setting foot on enemy soil. And that's exactly why 4 of the world's most powerful nations have spent the last several decades and hundreds of billions of dollars racing to build the most lethal carrier force on Earth. Let's meet the contenders. The power struggle: 4 navies, 4 arsenals, the United States, the F-35C Lightning II. The United States doesn't just have the largest carrier fleet in the world, 11 nuclear-powered supercarriers, more than every other nation combined. It has something arguably more dangerous, an aircraft designed to be invisible. Meet the F-35C Lightning II, the U.S. Navy's most advanced carrier-based strike fighter, and the crown jewel of American naval air power. On paper, the F-35C doesn't look unstoppable. It's not the fastest jet in the sky, it's not the most maneuverable. But that's the trap, because the F-35C was never built to win a dogfight. It was built to make sure the dogfight never happens. Here's why it's so deadly. Its stealth shaping and radar-absorbent skin make it nearly invisible to enemy radar systems, meaning an F-35C can be inside contested airspace before an adversary even knows it's there. It can locate and mark enemy air defenses for destruction, often before those defenses get a single shot off. And perhaps most dangerously, it doesn't fight alone. Every F-35C is a node in a vast sensor network, silently feeding targeting data to other aircraft, warships, and missile batteries, meaning a single Lightning II can quarterback an entire strike package without firing a shot itself. When it does fire, its arsenal is built for precision and range. The AIM, 120 AMRAAM, a radar-guided air-to-air missile capable of striking enemy aircraft well beyond visual range. The AIM, 9X Sidewinder, a highly agile infrared missile for close-range dogfights. JDAM guided bombs, turning unguided munitions into precision strike weapons. Small diameter bombs, allowing a single jet to carry more targets more efficiently. A 25mm internal cannon for last resort, close quarters engagements. The F-35C's true power isn't any single weapon. It's the combination of stealth, sensors, and networking, a system designed to see first, strike first, and disappear before the enemy can respond. But stealth and sensors come at a staggering price. Each F-35C costs the U.S. Navy roughly $100 million per unit, and that's before factoring in the cost of training, maintenance, and the carrier infrastructure required to launch and recover it. The full F-35 program, across all U.S. military branches, is projected to cost well over $2 trillion across its lifetime, making it the most expensive weapons program in human history. Is it worth it? To answer that, we need to cross the Pacific. China, the rise of the J-35. For decades, China's Navy was a coastal defense force capable of protecting its shores, but incapable of projecting real power beyond them. That changed with a decision that shocked military analysts worldwide. China would build its own carrier fleet from scratch in record time. Unlike the United States, China's carriers aren't armed with heavy defensive weaponry. They rely on escort ships, destroyers, frigates, and submarines to form a protective shield. The real weapon isn't the carrier itself, it's what launches from its deck. Enter the J-35, expected to become China's most advanced carrier-based aircraft and the centerpiece of its naval ambitions. The J-35 is a fifth-generation stealth fighter built with one clear goal: to close the gap with the F-35C. With an estimated range of 1,200 to 2,000 kilometers depending on mission profile, and a top speed near Mach 1.8, roughly 2,200 kilometers per hour. The J-35 is designed for both air superiority and strike missions deep into contested territory. Why does it matter? Its low radar signature is meant to make it difficult for adversary radar systems to detect, giving Chinese pilots a fighting chance to strike high-value targets and slip away before interception. Its advanced sensors and network systems echo the same first-look, first-shot philosophy that made the F-35 so feared. And it's designed to carry precision-guided munitions and long-range air-to-air missiles, giving Chinese carrier groups reach they've never had before. Here's the strategic question nobody can fully answer yet. Is the J-35 actually equal to the F-35C, or is it still catching up? China has moved at extraordinary speed to build its carrier program, but stealth fighter technology takes decades to mature engines, coatings, sensor fusion, pilot training doctrine. The West has a multi-decade head start. Whether that gap has truly closed, or only appears to have closed, may not be known until the moment it matters most. What we do know is this: China isn't racing to match America ship for ship. It's racing to make the Pacific too dangerous for anyone to control completely, including the United States. Russia, a gamble that never paid off. Not every nation followed the same playbook. Russia took a radically different approach to carrier design, one that reveals both ambition and a warning about what happens when ambition outpaces reality. Russia's only aircraft carrier, the Admiral Kuznetsov, wasn't built like an American or Chinese carrier. Instead of relying almost entirely on its air wing for offense, the Kuznetsov was armed like a battleship, carrying powerful offensive missiles directly on the ship itself. Its signature weapon, the P-700 Granit anti-ship cruise missile, known to NATO by a name that says everything you need to know about its purpose: shipwreck. This missile wasn't designed to fight fighter jets or bomb ground targets. It had one job: sink enemy aircraft carriers. Traveling at speeds up to Mach 2.5, with a range of roughly 550 kilometers, and carrying a warhead of about 750 kilograms of conventional explosive. With the original design even allowing for a nuclear payload, the Granit was built as a carrier killer in the truest sense. Originally, 12 of these missiles sat in vertical launch tubes beneath the Kuznetsov's flight deck, ready to fire in a coordinated swarm. sharing targeting data between missiles mid-flight to overwhelm enemy defenses. On paper, this is a terrifying weapon. In reality, it tells a very different story. Because here's the twist that changes everything. As of 2026, the Admiral Kuznetsov is not considered operational. Years of fires, accidents, and prolonged refit work have kept Russia's only carrier out of active service, a stark contrast to the 11-carrier American fleet and China's rapidly expanding force. It raises an uncomfortable question for Moscow. What good is the deadliest missile in the world sitting on a ship that can't leave port? Japan, the quiet transformation. Officially, Japan doesn't operate aircraft carriers at all. Since the end of the Second World War, Japan's constitution has restricted the country to a purely defensive military posture. No offensive carriers, no power projection. But quietly, methodically, that's beginning to change. The Izumo-Class ships are officially classified as multi-purpose destroyers. Unofficially, they're being converted into something else entirely, light aircraft carriers, capable of launching one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world. That jet is the F-35C Lightning II, a short takeoff, vertical landing variant of the same stealth fighter family flown by the United States. And it may be the single most important weapon in Japan's modern military transformation. Like its carrier-based cousin, the F-35B is built around stealth and sensor fusion, nearly invisible to enemy radar, capable of detecting threats hundreds of kilometers away, and able to share that data instantly with allied ships and missile systems. But its true innovation is mechanical. The F-35B can take off from the Izumo's short deck and land vertically without the massive catapult systems required by American supercarriers. Its weapons mirror America's own arsenal, the AIM-120 AMRAAM, with an engagement range of roughly 160 to 180 kilometers, built to eliminate enemy fighters at long range. The highly maneuverable AIM, 9X Sidewinder for close engagements, and precision-guided munitions like JDAMs and small-diameter bombs for striking land and sea targets with pinpoint accuracy. For a nation that hasn't fielded an offensive carrier fleet in 80 years, this is nothing short of a strategic earthquake, a quiet but unmistakable signal that the rules of the Pacific are changing. The cost of power, what death from the sky really costs. Every one of these weapons carries a price tag that says as much about a nation's priorities as its military doctrine. The F-35C costs the U.S. Navy roughly $100 million per aircraft, a number driven up by its stealth coatings, advanced sensor suite, and the immense research and development costs baked into the broader F-35 program. China's J-35 program remains far less transparent. Beijing doesn't publish detailed unit costs the way Washington does, but most defense analysts estimate the J-35 costs significantly less to produce than its American counterpart, a reflection of China's lower labor costs and a state-directed defense industry with different economic pressures. Some analysts believe this cost advantage could allow China to build stealth fighters in greater numbers, even if each individual jet is less capable. Russia's P-700 Granit missiles were expensive by Soviet-era standards, but the real cost isn't in the missile, it's in the ship. Maintaining and refitting the Admiral Kuznetsov has consumed staggering sums of money over the years, for a vessel that, as of this year, still isn't combat ready. It's a sobering reminder that a weapon's price tag means nothing if the platform carrying it can't put to sea. Japan's F-35B program comes with costs similar to its American cousin, compounded by the expense of converting the Izumo-Class ships into functional carriers, new deck coatings capable of withstanding jet exhaust heat, modified elevators, and expanded flight operations infrastructure. It's an expensive transformation for a nation only now stepping back into carrier aviation after 8 decades. The pattern that emerges is clear. America pays a premium for total technological dominance. China pays less for rapid expansion. Russia paid dearly for a ship that can no longer fight. And Japan is paying now for a capability it deliberately gave up 2 generations ago, the hidden consequences, where theory meets reality. Every weapon on this list has been tested in a laboratory, a simulation, or a training exercise. But war has a way of exposing weaknesses that no test can predict. The F-35 program, despite its dominance, has faced years of well-documented software delays, cost overruns, and maintenance challenges that have occasionally limited how many aircraft are truly combat-ready at any given time. Stealth technology is also not invincible. It reduces detection range, it doesn't eliminate it, and adversaries are investing heavily in new radar systems specifically designed to counter low observable aircraft. China's J-35, meanwhile, remains largely unproven in real combat conditions. Advanced specifications on paper are not the same as a fighter jet performing under the chaos and pressure of an actual conflict, something only the F-35 family has begun to demonstrate through real-world operational deployments. Russia's story is the starkest warning of all. A carrier-killer missile is meaningless without a functioning carrier to launch it from, and the Kuznetsov's extended limbo raises a deeper question about the future of Russian naval aviation entirely. Is the ship ever coming back, or is Russia's carrier ambition effectively over? And Japan faces its own quiet tension. As its destroyers increasingly function as carriers in every way but name, the nation is forced to confront a decades-old question about the limits of its pacifist constitution and what kind of military power it's truly willing to become. Every strength on this list has a shadow attached to it. That's the nature of modern naval power. Nothing is invincible, and every advantage comes with a cost the enemy is already working to exploit. The final verdict? Who truly holds the deadliest weapon? So, after everything, the stealth fighters, the carrier-killer missiles, the quiet transformations, which nation actually holds the deadliest weapon on the seas today, if we're measuring proven, combat-tested, globally deployed lethality? The answer is the United States. The F-35C isn't just a fighter jet. It's the physical embodiment of a strategy built over 80 years, since the lessons of Midway first proved that air power wins wars at sea. Its stealth, its sensors, and its ability to quarterback an entire strike group make it the most complete naval weapons system in the world today. But most powerful and most dangerous aren't always the same thing. China's J-35 represents something the U.S. should watch closely, not because it's necessarily superior today, but because of the speed at which China is closing the gap. A nation that builds carriers, escort fleets, and stealth fighters this quickly is a nation planning for a very different Pacific than the one that exists now. Russia's Granit missile remains, on paper, one of the most devastating anti-ship weapons ever built, a reminder that raw destructive power means nothing without the platform to deliver it. It stands today less as an active threat and more as a monument to what Russian naval ambition once was. And Japan's F-35B may be the most quietly significant development of all, not because of its raw capability, but because of what it represents. A pacifist nation, one conflict away from becoming a carrier power again. So here's the question worth sitting with as this video ends. Technology decides battles, but doctrine, readiness, and will decide wars. The nation with the most advanced weapon doesn't always win. The nation that can actually put it to sea, keep it flying, and use it decisively, that's the nation that shapes the future of the Pacific and the world. 4 navies, 4 philosophies, 1 ocean that isn't big enough for all of them to dominate at once. The question now isn't which weapon is deadliest. It's what happens the day one of them is actually used. 4 fleets, 4 gambles, 1 truth, steel and stealth mean nothing without the will to use them. Because the next war at sea won't be won by the deadliest weapon. It'll be won by the nation ready when the missiles finally fly. If you want to know who's really prepared, subscribe to Weapons, Wars, and Conflicts and step aboard our next documentary where another hidden arsenal reveals the true face of modern war.